How's it going, my people? Well, your boy's coming through with another video. I know, man, but I have to drop them, man. I have to drop these videos, man, because it's some interesting videos, interesting stories. And hold on, before I continue with this video, I want to apologize. I see my kitchen, man. I want to apologize. I'm making the videos from the kitchen, but again, man, small steps. I'm barely starting, you know. The little money that I make right here has to go to my family, man, and I cannot afford to make a studio right now, you know. But maybe once we get those 1,000 subscribers, man, maybe I can reinvest that money into a little studio, you know, to make it more nicer. And but hopefully we'll get there, man. I do appreciate you guys, because I'll be getting a lot of subscribers and those views. I do appreciate it, man. Share my videos, man. And like I said, my channel, I try to keep it real, man. It's real. I don't need to throw extras or nothing. Well, let's go back to the story, man. So this story is about the murder of Officer Edwin Lima, and actually the officer who killed him, because he got killed by another officer. It was Mr. Sanchez, Rigoberto Sanchez. So I have seen a video by Renegade Media, and my respects to him and stuff like that, but he didn't touch base on the case, you know. He gave you a little background on some of the stuff, and once I see that video and there was no information on it, I was like, you know what, I was at TEHACHAPI, I knew Lima, I knew the what's it called, the guy who did it too, so let me just drop it. I had info from inside source that all the investigation that it was done. Little key details that is gonna blow your head or your brains. You know what I mean? So let's go to the story. So this murder happened in 2017, right? And the reason this thing happened, it was because of course Lima was sleeping with Rigoberto Sanchez wife at the time. I believe that they were separated around that time, but you know, old boy still had feelings towards her. And you know, Lima, for those who don't know Lima, let me give you a little story about Lima. Lima was very bold. The story about why the murder probably happened is because Lima used to throw that to Sanchez's face, that, oh, I'm doing your wife, you know. So of course, that who wants to hear that? Nobody wants to hear that. And this guy was like Lima was good. He had good size and stuff like that. Rigoberto, I mean, he was an older cat, you know what I mean. So this young officers over here bragging and throwing talking shit to this individual, saying basically, he don't give a fuck. So I mean, see what happens, man. But anyways, okay, we have heard so many of things about the TEHACHAPI, right? The corruption, the officer beating up inmate. Well, trip, I was right on the shoe, and 4A. That's where Lima used to work. They used to work in at that time. They used to work on five to six buildings. They're connected, so they were on those buildings. When I was in the transition of getting kicked out, I went to the hole. So building 5 and 6, 7 and 8 was back then overflow. The overflow hole. No, it was the hole. There was no shoe. It was just the hole. So the shoe was 1, 2, 3, and 4 in A-yard, 4A. So that's where Lima used to work. So it was Lima. I believe it was Gonzalez. I believe it was Gonzalez. Yeah, Gonzalez or Garcia. No, it was Garcia. So this individual, it was like four cops. The guys who run those buildings. So it was 2 cops from 5 block, 2 cops from 6 block. So this was the gangster squad. That's what we call it. That's what me and myself used to call these individuals, the gangster squad. So why we call them the gangster squad? Because these individuals were beating up inmates. They're smacking inmates up left and right. They all put them on the day room, handcuffs, and beat them up. You know what I mean? So everybody can hear it. You know what I mean? Of course, they used to pick and choose who they were gonna do that to. You know what I mean? Usually it was more to the lower level, so maybe some kind of weirdo, whatever, you know. But that's what Lima was. Lima was one of the individuals who were taking off on inmates, straight up. I'm telling you, because I know Lima. He was my floor officer. I know him, and I have seen him in action. You know, so that's the big background behind Lima. So you already know the boy is. He thinks he's with the business, you know, and he was to a certain point, because you're taking off on the individuals that have handcuffs. Come on. And so that was the gangster squad. So that's the little background on Lima. You know, Lima, he just didn't care. He did what he did. He was a little thug. He thought he was a little bit thug, you know. And he had his little things. He burned some people in the yard, thinking that he was gonna bring stuff to him and burn them, you know. So again, that's a little background with Lima. So trip on this story though. Trip on the story before the murder happened. So I got a very a good information from a very good source that before this happened, at the parking lot of 4A, somebody wrote on somebody's car, "You fucking bitch." That's what they wrote. And guess what? Next to that car was a bag with nothing but panties. Nothing but panties. This is exclusive, man. Ain't nobody's gonna tell you this. This is exclusive. Straight up, man. If somebody witnessed that, come on, tell me this. It wasn't true. Tell me. I'm talking to officers or whoever staff was right there. Tell me that wasn't true. So there was this car, and somebody wrote, "You fucking bitch," and there was a gang of panties on next to the car, like with a bag, like nothing but sexy panties and stuff, and it was just thrown right there. So that was before this murder happened, dude. It was before this. So again, around that time, this is what happened, right? And then it came down to doing some investigations. There was a lot of corruption going on in Tehachapi, where actually inmates were beating up other inmates because the officer asked them to do it. So they will actually be opening doors and letting the inmates go in there and smash this individual. They usually were smashing child molesters, so people that were not considered not good. And the reason why this was an investigation was because they were doing it when there shouldn't be no movement, you know. They would just open the door of the individuals and they go attack. Usually the ones who were doing it, for what I know Renegade Media said it was this group. For what I heard, it was the 2-5ers doing it. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna put my hands in there because I wasn't on those buildings. I can't speak on it. But the rumor was that it was the 2-5ers. There was a case where they got out of hand. And they actually that's when they got in trouble. That's when people got investigated. So during that course where they're like, okay, some people, they're getting fire or they're putting on investigation, that's when the murder happened. And so old boy went over there and shot Officer Lima. He was at the girl's his ex-wife's or whatever, his wife apartment, you know. They were not living together no more. I mean, probably they were in the process of separating and stuff like that, but she was already messing around with Lima, you know. And for one, I never met that girl, but I know she wasn't that ugly. She was pretty. I heard she was pretty. She was more like a Mexican white girl, you know, more like a Mexican white girl. I don't think she was no cholita or nothing like that. You know what I mean? She was a Mexican. I'm just saying, I never met her, but that's the information I got from a source that knew her. So before she worked, she was working at the 7 or 8 control. She was a tower. Before she got that job, she actually was a control cop, letting know the the cops, the free staff into AR 4A. Then she got moved. She got moved to actually to a building, basically in to mess with inmates, with contact with inmates. You know, she was the tower officer. So that's her. So, like I said, Officer Lima was at her apartment. Old boy went over there, shot, killed Lima. Lima opened the door. He shot him, killed him. He shot at the girl. She got away. And old boy got Rigoberto just got spook, bounce. Trip on this. So old boy's on the run, right? He went to Mexico. All this happening, I am at Tehachapi. We are on lockdown. Once we find out that old boy killed, once they found out that old boy got killed, we went on a lockdown. We didn't know what happened. We were on a lockdown. And I remember me and my Sally watching the TV, right? And we were like, man, what happened? And sure enough, came on the news, on the Tehachapi news, hey, about Officer Lima. I was like, oh hell no, we just saw this individual a couple days ago. You know what I mean? Because like I said, he was working on the between I think 5 and 6 when I was in the hole. Then eventually I didn't see him for a minute, and once in a while he used to work in one block. And I mean, he was alright. You know what I mean? He already knew me who it was, but he was cool with me. Anyway, so a boy shot him. He took off to Mexico. Later on, I think within a month, he got busted. They put him into I think he was busted in Yuma, whatever. He went to Mexico. I don't know what part of Mexico, but he got busted. They put him in Yuma, pending transfer, right? Well, trip on this. This individual who killed Officer Lima he was a ISU officer. This is basically the cop within a cop. You know what I mean? He is the regulator of everything. He checks. He makes sure that basically the cops are within their line. They're all staffs are doing their job. They're all inmates are behaving how they're supposed to be behaving. He's the one who's investigating when they bring dope, the gangs, any kinds of stuff that is high profile. Like he should be investigating officers if they bring in phone. Let's say if I'm hitting dope or whatever, and something happens where they snitch on me or whatever, he will go to my family's house or whoever's out there in the house and do a search warrant and go break and try and get evidence. He'll come and pick me up. He'll do the whole investigation. He's the FBI of the prison, man. He's the ISU, IGI, whatever you want to call it, man. IGI is more into the gangs, but they're part of the ISU. You know what I mean? It's the same thing, you know. So this guy is supposed to be this individual. You know what I mean? He's basically, he can get any cop in trouble if he can. He has the power to do that. You know what I mean? He has the power to do. He controls everything. He handles everything has to do with going evidence to the DA. He handles the evidence of everything. So, and they do investigation on officers, inmates, and all stuff like that. So this guy's supposed to be like this, right? So what this individual does, this individual knows that he's done. He starts spilling the beans. Ain't nobody know this. Nobody knows this. He starts spilling the beans. You know what I mean? No inmate's supposed to know this. So what he does, he starts telling it on everybody. He starts saying that his wife, or whatever you want to call it, you know what I mean? Lima's lover, that she was bringing phones. He started telling on other officers who were bringing contraband. Well, let's not forget, he's ISU. He's supposed to get this individual, this officers in trouble. You know what I mean? Supposed to basically walk them out or walk them off. You know what I mean? He's supposed to do. That's his job. Basically, when he gets information that an officer is doing, his job is to investigate it. Once he got the evidence, walk him off. He got proof, take him to jail. That's his job. So this guy, you're telling me that this guy had all this information on all these officers, and he didn't proceed to do his job. He didn't do his job. So now that he's busted, that he knows that he's done, he decided to spill all the beans. He spilled all the beans. So what does CCI does? What do they do? What does TEHACHAPI do? Well, I mean, we're talking about they have to open an investigation. What this means? They got all the records. Basically, they have to get all the computers. Somebody went in there and grabbed all the computers. They grabbed all the computers to get all the information. You can type in. They can tell when somebody logged in, who logged in, and they're gonna go through every computer to see what's going on. They went for the computers. They took all kinds of evidence. I mean, of course, nobody knows what kind of evidence there was. But what I can tell you what happened, that a lot of people, well, when I say people, a lot of CEOs lost their jobs because of this. They lost their jobs because of this. And why did it happen? Because what he was saying was true. There was some kind of evidence on their computer. They was linked back to whatever officer, and that's how they lost their jobs. A lot of officers got laid off because of that. Now, point on the wife, Sanchez's wife, Miss Sanchez, the one who was messing around with Lima, Edwin Lima. Guess what? She was MI. What that means? She most likely lost her jobs because he had evidence of actually that she was bringing phones. And I remember around that time, man. I remember around the time that where she was working at, they had phones over there. They had phones over there. And there was like I say, and it was an officer, because I remember, people talking in the yard. I remember they were bringing dope through there. There's officers like that, and it was the 2-5ers doing it. That's who it was. It was the 2-5ers doing it. For what my understanding, it was the two. I heard that Dino, Renegade said that Renegade Media brought up Dino and stuff like that. Yeah, Dino probably was involved in all that stuff, because at that time he had a lot of pull on the 2-5ers. I'm pretty sure he was like the leader or whatever, Footnote: Dino ended up months later. Dino ended up getting rolled up by his own homeboys. They jumped on. Why? Okay, Renegade Media says that they were giving information to the cops. Well, guess what, man? That is not allowed. That is not allowed. So Dino got rolled up by his homeboys because he was telling. He was telling. And I'm assuming if he had some kind of connection with the getting dope or phone, whatever he was getting. And by the way, Dino had told me that Lima had burned him for $300 green dot. I mean, once he's dead, he lost $300. That's the information that I know. But again, Renegade Media had said that Dino, that they were giving information, beating up inmates in exchange for this, right? Well, all right. Like I said, I'm assuming because of that, Dino got beat up. I mean, you're not supposed to be sharing no information to an officer. Straight up, man. If your dealings is for him to bring your dope or phones or whatever, you just keep it on a professional level. You're not asking, hey man, what's going on over here? And they're not supposed to be asking you what's going on with your where you said or whatever, your prison gang. It's just common sense. It's about the money, man. Give me the money. As long as everything stays clean, that's all good, man. But it is an interesting story, man. And oh boy, Big Rigo, he got broken off. I believe he got like 80 years, something. I don't know. I'm not sure. But what I'm telling you, what the story is, a good ass story. There's nobody who has this type of story. Like I said, I had the insider. Your boy had to work through the cracks and got that information from the insider, man. And that's how I knew all this stuff. And I was at the TEHACHAPI at that time, man. There was a lot of people lost their jobs, and it is sad to see this taking place, because when they showed the picture of old boy right there with his daughter, you get to see the individual behind that batch. I mean, TEHACHAPI is corrupt, dude. There's corruption everywhere. Inmates are corrupt. CEOs are corrupt. CDCR is corrupt. You know what I mean? There's corruption all over the place, man. And why? Why there's corruption? Why? Because they don't have their values straight. That's why there's corruption. They don't have your values straight. As an officer, you take an oath to basically respect your badge. You know, you have to be professional. I can say, okay, inmates are corrupt as well. You know what I mean? We are corrupt. But again, we don't take an oath. That's our house. You know, we in prison. That's our house. But as an officer, you are supposed to obey by a set of rules. You know, you're supposed to be professional at all times. That's your job. That's your job, to be professional. And we got a lot of officers who cross the line. I mean, they get too involved into the gangs, to the prison. They believe they're with the business. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, a lot of people are with the business. I have seen officers basically be like, "What's up, man? Let's get down," you know. And sometimes you think, oh, like, okay, if I get down, what's up? He's gonna be good or he's not? Because all he has to do is just basically say you attacked him, and there you go, you with the battery on the shoe. So it's something to think about. But it is a very, again, I feel for those two families, man, that they got affected, man. This story is not about the Lima and Sanchez, you know. It's more than that, man. You have to think about their families. What was the ripple effect of that crime? Who got affected, man? Like, so many people got affected because of this. So many people, you know, officers lost their jobs. Whatever it is, man, the officers could be corrupt as hell. Doesn't matter, man. But the officers, probably got a family to take care of, you know. So you have to think about that. The family of Sanchez, the family of Lima, all those people got affected, man. And it should not happen. It should not happen. Basically, this should not happen. And it goes, and it's basically what I'm telling you. It just people testing other individuals, pushing them to the limit. You never wanna underestimate the next man. Never do it, man. I'm telling you, never do it. This is a clear mistake of thinking that you're young, you're beating up inmates with handcuffs and stuff like that. That makes you a tough ass individual. You're big, and you tell the old man, "Yeah, I'm fucking your wife," and what's up? You know what I mean? That's what's up. This is what happened, man. Like, again, man, let's try to be humble, man. Try to be humble. Why you want to be a tough guy, man? As long as you know who you are as a person, you don't have to be proving to nobody that you're a tough individual. You know, just keep it humble, man. Keep it humble, and trust me, everything will come out all right. But again, man, we become so insecure that we're gonna prove ourselves just so the next man can see how down we are. And sometimes it comes down and bite us in the ass, you know. And this story has happened many times. Savage Studios, look what happened to old boy. It's the same thing, man. But again, I got my story across, man. Thank you very much for taking the time and watching my video. Lates, man. Keep tuning on my videos, man. Keep following. I do appreciate you, man.